Hello students, welcome again to the video lectures of University Physics, Electricity and Magnetism. This lecture is about alternating current, that is chapter 31. And this is the lecture 1 of this chapter, alternating current, and lecture 13 of the lecture series. In this lecture, we'll discuss about phasors and alternating current. As all of you know, in the last lectures, we have discussed about the origin of magnetic field, the sources of magnetic field, and the magnetic energy stored in inductor, inductance, and in chapter 30, just in the last chapter, we have discussed about different circuits. RL circuit, LC circuit, and RLC series circuit. So when we have discussed about RC circuit, we have discussed that a capacitor is charged using a DC source, or you can say using a DC voltage. Then the capacitor discharges through the resistor. And in RL circuit, also, we are observing the growth and decay of current in RL circuit. So initially a RL circuit is connected to a DC source. The inductor stores the energy. The current in the circuit gradually increases and becomes maximum. Then the source is removed. The electromotive source is removed from the circuit, and we are observing how the current is decaying in the circuit. Here the point is that till now we have considered about DC, you can say DC current or DC sources, not about AC. So in this particular chapter, we will discuss about alternating current source, and different circuits using alternating current source. In this particular chapter, we will discuss about phasors and the basic idea about alternating current. Okay? So, let me give a brief introduction about the alternating current source and how it is different from the direct current source. So, your direct current is a steady current that doesn't vary with time. So when we connected a bulb to a source of EMF, your battery, and the bulb also glows. So in this case, you are using the direct current. Also, in many cases, in your torch light, you are using also the direct current source. Your alternating current varies sinusoidally with time. So what we are using in our home, or if you say in India, what source is used for domestic purpose, this is a alternating current source. As many scientists, they argued that, or you can say many engineers, they argued that alternating current is better for use for domestic purpose as well as for commercial purpose in comparison to DC current. So one of the important thing is that transformers can be used to step the voltage up and down with AC but not with DC. All of you are acquainted with the term transformer and also the term step up transformer and step down transformer. And you know that everywhere in the town, in many places, your or you can say different zones are there and where transformers are there and they are supplying voltage for domestic as well as for commercial purpose. So they can step up the voltage as well as step down the voltage. What is the necessity of it? Now, your low voltages are safer for consumer use, but high voltages and correspondingly low currents are best for long distance power transmission to minimize losses in the cables. If you want to remain the power constant, that means then what you have to do? If you increase the voltage, then current should decrease. If you increase the current, then voltage should decrease, because all of you know that power is V into I. So, though we know that low voltages are safer for consumer use, but for supply long distance power transmission, we need high voltage, because you know that the loss is your I square R. If I will be less, then the loss will be less. So that means whatever power is supplied by the you can say power station, so the loss will be minimized. So most of the power can be transmitted. So that's why we need transformers, and which can use only AC current, not the DC current. I think you have heard about the lines 400 kV line, 3 kV line, like 4 kV line. That means kV means what? Your kilovolt. That means the power transmission lines, they are having a very high voltage. So always it is advisable not to go too near it, and accordingly uh, they are designed and they are kept in a safe distance from human as well as from the animals. So okay, so that means your AC is, you can say, more safer or more useful. So most of the cases we are using AC current, and particularly we are using AC source, not DC source. Okay, for the our power supply is an AC source. So now exactly discuss what is that AC source or AC current. Okay, so the AC source is an external source that supplies a sinusoidally varying voltage or current. That means when you say a voltage source, that means this source supply a voltage. When you say that your EMF source, it also supplies a voltage, nothing else. But simply when you say EMF source, you are saying a DC source. But when you are saying an AC source, means it supply a voltage which varies sinusoidally with time. So generally, we can represent a AC voltage or sinusoidal voltage as B equal to your capital B cos omega t, or also you can write this as B equal to B sin omega t. As also this can be represented as in sine form, because you can write this as what? B sin omega t minus 2 or omega t plus 2, you can write this. So this can be represented like this. Here the graph is, this is for a sine curve. As when t equal to 0, the voltage is 0 because it is a curve voltage versus time. When omega t equal to 0, t equal to 0 means what? Omega t equal to 0, so voltage is 0. When it is pi by 2, it is maximum. When it is pi, again it is 0. Then 3 pi by 2, it is maximum, but it is negative. Then again 2 pi, it is 0. You can say this is one cycle. That means the AC source supplies a voltage that varies with time. And what is your omega? Omega is angular frequency. Yeah. Here two B's are there, small b and capital B. This small b is the voltage at any time t. And this is the maximum voltage or voltage amplitude or peak value of the voltage, like this. So in this case, if you say this is the peak value of the voltage, if you take any time t, suppose here you can take, suppose this is the time t, then any time t, this is the voltage. Okay, so like this. And what is your omega? Angular frequency. If the frequency is f, then you can write omega is 2 pi. So what is this angular frequency? That means as this is one cycle, in 1 second how many cycles are there, because a continuous source is applied. When a source is applied, it continuous gives you the voltage, and the voltage varies sinusoidally with time. So that means how many times it comes to zero, then again maximum, then in negative side maximum, then it comes to zero. That means one cycle. So in 1 second how many cycles are there? So if you know, I think you know this. We are using an AC source with a frequency of 50 Hertz. So similarly here we can write the current as also I equal to I cos omega t, or you can write I sin omega t. And this is your instantaneous value. This is your amplitude, or you can say the maximum value. And this is your, and this is your angular frequency. Now, what is the term omega t? Now, if you remember, in the same way we are mentioning the uh, displacement and velocity in a simple harmonic motion, or you can say in oscillation. Yeah, how can you mention this? We are mentioning either y or x depending upon the direction of the oscillatory particle. Suppose x equal to, you are mentioning x cos omega t, or x sin omega t. Sorry, x equal to, you are mentioning a cos omega t or a sin omega t. What is this a? A is the maximum displacement, or known as amplitude. Now, what is this omega t? This omega t is also termed as phase. This omega t is termed as phase. So that means this phase means what? When we have described your oscillation, so you are saying the phase is that which gives a clear idea about the exact position of the you can see the particle. Okay, so that is, if you say that the displacement is 3 centimeter, so you cannot say whether it is in which side it is 3 centimeter, but your phase gives you the clear idea. Likewise here, when omega t equal to 0, in this case when it is represented in cos omega t, when omega t equal to 0 means you know that the voltage is maximum. Omega t is pi by 2 means the voltage is 0. So your omega t says your how the voltage varies. And if you represent current here, I you are representing I cos omega t, and also B representing V cos omega t. Then you can say that current and voltage, they both are in phase with each other. But if in a particular circuit, if you are representing B is equal to V cos omega t, where in that circuit, if you are saying I equal to I sin omega t means what? You can represent this as what? Cos omega t minus pi by 2. Also you can represent. That means there is a phase difference of pi by 2. So this omega t is known as also phase. Okay. So this is how mathematically you are representing the voltage or the current in case of a alternating current source or voltage source. We can represent in sine form or cos form. Okay. Now let us come to the phasor diagrams. And obviously phasor diagrams are related to phase. Now this is how you are representing the current in a geometrical manner, you can say. Okay, so this is your phasor diagram. So let me discuss this in detail. So to represent sinusoidally varying voltages and currents, rotating vector diagrams are used. So this point is important. Rotating vector diagrams are used. See this. Here we are representing this as phasor. I will tell you what is this. And you see, this is mentioned as if this is in the form of a rotating vector. This can rotate, and it is mentioned it can rotate your counterclockwise, or you can say anticlockwise. And at which angular velocity it rotate. The angular velocity is omega. If you imagine a circular motion or oscillation, also this is more or less the same thing. Okay. Now come to this exact the thing. What is a phasor diagram? So in these diagrams, the instantaneous value of a quantity that varies sinusoidally with time is represented by the projection onto a horizontal axis of a vector with a length equal to the amplitude of the quantity. Try to understand this thing. So in phasor diagram, what we represent? We represent the instantaneous value of a quantity. Okay. So which value you can represent, in which case, in which quantity you can represent the instantaneous value? If this quantity varies with time, and in this case particularly, if this varies with a function of cosine or sine, then you can represent this in terms of a projection of a vector. Okay, and in this case we are representing this in terms of what? Cos omega t. Here we are taking I, the instantaneous value of current, which is equal to I cos omega t. So in this case we are representing the instantaneous value by the projection onto the horizontal axis of a vector with length equal to the amplitude of the quantity. Remember one thing, if we are representing this as I equal to I sin omega t, this should be the projection to this axis. And this angle is omega t, but projection should be on the vertical axis. But as we are representing I equal to I cos omega t, this is along your horizontal axis. Okay. So now this you have taken as the vector, and length is equal to what? The amplitude. So the amplitude means what? Here the maximum value of the current. So the length of the vector is equal to the numerical value of the peak value of the current or amplitude of the current. And this angle between this horizontal axis and this phase here, the angle is omega t, which is, you can say, the phase. And this vector rotates counterclockwise with angular velocity omega. Now, if you at particular instant, if you say this is your omega t, and if you draw this perpendicular and this is the projection, and this value is the instantaneous value of the current. So, if you consider the geometry, this is omega t and this is I. So, obviously, this is your I cos omega t. So, that means here the instantaneous value of the current is nothing but the projection of the I onto x axis. Okay, and this rotating vector is known as phasor. So this is known as phasor. One thing you remember here, don't confuse that here I is a vector, because it is mentioned that it is the projection of a vector, but it is mentioned that it is simply a vector of having some length. That means this line is a vector because it is along a particular direction depending upon the value of omega and t. And the magnitude of this vector is equal to the numerical value of the maximum current. So, in this case, you are representing this. Doesn't mean that your I is a vector. So, this phasor is a vector, you can say. Okay. So now this is your instantaneous value and this is your maximum value. So that means if it is rotating, your maximum value doesn't change, but which changes? The instantaneous value changes. Now as it is rotating here, you see, when it is rotating, then what is happening? When this angle, so this is exactly, the phasor is along the direction of this positive y-axis. Then what is your instantaneous value? 0. Then again if you rotate, this is along your negative x-axis. The instantaneous value is maximum, but it is negative, and this is equal to I, because your omega t is your pi. And again, this is when this is along negative y-axis, again it is 0. When it is along positive x-axis, exactly this vector is along this line, then what is the value? I equal to this capital I, your omega t equal to 0. So instantaneous value changes, but only this rotates. Instantaneous value changes. Okay. So this rotating vector is called your phasor, and that's why the diagram is known as a phasor diagram. So you can say that this phasor is a geometric entity. That means to explain it geometrically, we are taking the help of this phasor, but it's not a real physical quantity. Like you are representing exactly the displacement, the velocity, magnetic field, electric field, these are vectors. But these are real physical quantities. But phasor is not a real physical quantity, just a mathematical, or it is better to say that it is a geometrical entity. Only it helps us to describe and analyze the physical quantities that vary sinusoidal with time. Particularly, we are using phasor diagrams to explain current and voltage in different circuits, and also to explain the phase difference between the currents and voltages in different circuits. So this is all about the phasor diagram. But in the next lessons, we'll discuss many more things about this phasor diagram. So that means we'll draw the phasor diagram for currents and voltage for different situations, for different circuits. So now this is all about the phasor diagram. Now let us come to your AC current and the RMS value. That means your root mean square value. So why this is needed? Okay, just I have told that, yeah, to this slide. Here we are using this current. That means our source supplies this value, this voltage, our source supplies, and which in once you can say in 1 second, how many oscillations? About 50 oscillations it is supplying, and its value changes from 0 to certain maximum value in one direction, then in opposite direction this maximum value, then 0. But when it is written, our source supplies a voltage of 220 volt. If you know this, we are having a source generally of having 220 volt. Then which value is 220? This peak value is 220, this value is 220, or average value is 220. Let us try to find out what is the average value. So as something is varying from a maximum to 0, again 0 to maximum like this. In this case, generally we are taking the average value. But what is the average value of this? So in this condition, if this is the maximum value, if you take this is V max or B, this is your minus B. What is the average value? 0. If you draw this, this is your average. So that means if you take the average value of a AC current or AC voltage, this is 0. So you cannot take the average value. If you take the peak value, only in the whole cycle, you are getting the peak value twice. So you cannot take the peak value. So which value you will take? So it is advisable to take root mean square or RMS value. Root mean square or RMS value, because your average value is 0. So generally whatever may be, we are generating power and we are saying there is power transmission. You say it is in terms of current or in terms of voltage, whatever may be, it is power, isn't it? So another thing, let us assume when you are considering this as a like sine value, sinusoidal, representing a sinusoidal curve, your current and voltage. Now let us compare to this as wave. When you say that wave, also it can be represented what in terms of sine or cosine. In one cycle, if you consider what is the amplitude, yeah, amplitude is in one cycle we are getting one time it is maximum. Two maximums are there. One is plus a and the other is minus a. And what is the average displacement? Is 0. But if when say energy, wave intensity you are saying I proportional to a square, or in some cases I equal to a square. And what is the average value of this? Average value of this is what? A square by 2, because it is positive. So similarly here, what we are taking? We are taking the value as the root mean square value. That means what is root mean square value? So you take the root mean square value as what? I square average root over. Remember this thing. This is not I average square, because your I average is 0. If you take I average square, it is also 0. So first you take I square, then the average, then take the root over. So this is your I RMS. So gradually you will be clear why this value is taken. Now first find out what is this I RMS. Okay. As you are representing the current as I equal to I cos omega t, you are representing what is I square. I square as I square cos omega t. Then what is your I square average? I square cos square omega t average. What is the average value of cos square omega t? The minimum value is 0 in a cycle, we are saying, and the maximum value is 1. So the average is 1 by 2. So your I square, the average is I square by 2, because this value is 1 by 2. So what is IRMS? It is I by root 2. Okay. So your IRMS is I by root 2. Similarly, you can write what is your VRMS? Is V by root 2. Then what is your power? RMS value of power, if you say V into I. What is V into I? VRMS into IRMS into V into I by root 2 into root 2 V by V into I by 2. This means nothing but the average power. If the also power is transmitting in a cycle, then you are getting the average power. Okay. Now it is clear why you are taking the root mean square value. Now some important points for you. Meters used for AC voltage and current measurements are nearly always calibrated to read RMS values. What you are using? Generally, when you are measuring AC voltage, not the DC, because in many cases you are using voltmeters and ammeters for measuring DC. When DC, these are the direct values. But when your meters are used for AC voltage and current measurements, they are accordingly calibrated to read RMS values. Otherwise, what will happen? The current will increase, decrease. There is a fluctuation. It is very difficult to measure. So, they are calibrated to read RMS values, root mean square values. So voltages and currents in power distribution systems are always described in terms of their RMS values. The usual household power supply 220 volt AC. As I have already told you, you are using this 220 volt AC. This has an RMS value of voltage 220 volt. That means what you are using, this is your RMS value. So what is the maximum voltage? Here the maximum voltage is 311.08, almost 311 volt. So sometimes uh, when you are touching a electric appliance, there is some problem or like that. So you can get the voltage of what? Not 220, but there is a chance that you can get a volt of what? 311. If at that time it is in its peak value. Okay. Now here the graph shows about the average value of current and the RMS value. See, this is the current graph, and this is also this value is what? I cos omega t. This is minus I. This is your plus I. If you take the average, obviously this is the line. So what is the average value? The average value of the current is of course 0. But when you take I square, see, all are the positive values. So this is your average. What is your average? I square by 2. So when you take IRMS, what is the value? I by root 2. This is I by root 2. So this value we are using. Okay. So now this is about your root mean square value and phasors and the basic ideas about your AC source. Okay. So now let us see how much you have understood. So we have discussed many things about phasors, and I have told that this phasor diagram is very much important to describe the current and voltage for different AC circuits. This is a simple diagram showing 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, 4 phasors, and some questions are asked. And here also the phasors rotate counterclockwise as the general definition with a angular velocity omega, and each phasor represents the magnitude is I, and I. Now answer these questions. Now what is given? The figure at left shows 4 different current phasors with same angular frequency omega. At the time shown, which phasor corresponds to a positive current that is becoming more positive? That means at that time, what is the instantaneous current? And by the rotation of the vector, how the current changes. So first question is, from these 4 phasors A, B, C and D, which phasor at this particular instant shows that the instantaneous current is positive and is becoming more positive? To solve this, let us first find out which phasor here shows the instantaneous current as positive. See this phasor A. If you draw the projection, here this is the projection, obviously this instantaneous current is positive. So in case of A, this is positive, but in case of B, it is negative, C, it is negative, but again D, it is positive. Now, if you rotate A, then what will happen? This counterclockwise, see. Now, see, this is the perpendicular, so this is the value of the voltage. If it is rotating this position, see, the value of the current, not voltage, current gradually decreases. When it rotates and exactly it coincides with the positive y-axis, the current becomes 0. So that means here A cannot be the answer, because in case of A, though your current is positive, but it is becomes less positive than becoming 0. So A cannot be the answer. B also not possible. C also not possible. Now see D. Now let us see D. When D, the current is positive. When you rotate D along this direction, the current becomes gradually more and more positive. And when it rotates and exactly along positive x-axis, the current is maximum and in a positive direction. So which is your answer? So the answer is your D. So question is answer to this A is your D. D is the you can say phasor which corresponds to a positive current that is becomes more positive. Now come to the next question. A positive current that is decreasing towards zero. Already we have discussed this is A because it is decreasing towards zero. C, a negative current that is becoming more negative. Now if you go B, see this is negative, and as it rotated along this direction, this becomes more negative. So the answer is B. A negative current that is decreasing in magnitude towards zero. This is C, because this is a projection. It is rotating along this side. So gradually it becomes less negative and then becomes zero. This is the answer. First is D, then A, then B, then C. Okay. So now let us work out a simple problem about your which is related to your RMS value, root mean square value. What is the problem? What is given? The plate on the back of a personal computer says that it draws 2.7 ampere from a 120 volt 60 hertz line. For this computer, what are the average current, the average of the square of the current and the current amplitude? So what is given? It draws a current of 2.7 ampere from a 120 volt 60 hertz line. What do you mean by this? So this means you are getting a current from a source, AC source, which gives a RMS value of voltage 120 volt, not the peak value. RMS value 120 volt and the frequency F 60 hertz. Omega is 2 pi F. F is given. That means in 1 second we are getting 60 cycles. So what is the current it draws? 2.7 ampere. Again the current is what? It is also in its RMS form. Because we have told that the meter when it is measure a current from a AC source or AC circuit, it is calibrated in RMS form. Now let us find out the average current, whatever it may be. The average current is 0 because you know that the average of any sinusoidally varying quantity over whole number of cycles is 0. So again, the average current is 0. So what is another question is asked? What is the average of the square of the current? That means I square average. What is given? IRMS is given. IRMS is 2.7 ampere. What is IRMS? I square average root over. So what is I square average? 2.7 ampere square, which is 7.3 ampere square approximately. And what is the current amplitude? You know that IRMS is equal to I by root 2. So I is what? Root 2 IRMS. So 3.8 ampere. From this figure also it can be shown. This is the figure. This RMS value is given. And we are measuring this value. This peak value is 3.8 ampere. And this average value is I square by 2, which is 7.3 ampere square. But if you go to this value is your 3.8 ampere square. The square of 3.8 ampere. So this is a very simple problem. You can work out it easily. Okay. So this is all about the first lecture of chapter 31. So let me discuss in briefly what we have discussed in this chapter. We have discussed the basic ideas of AC current and AC source and about the phasor diagram. What is a phasor and what is a phasor diagram and why we are using phasor diagrams and about the RMS value of the current. Okay. So in the next lecture, we'll discuss about different circuits, AC circuits. That means your AC circuit containing resistor, AC circuit containing capacitor, AC circuit containing inductor. And also in this circuit will represent the current and voltage in terms of your phasor diagrams. So please go through this chapter. If any doubt, then you can write me. Then go to the other chapters. Thank you. Thanks everyone.